Now the journalist in me has to ask, and we can not speak on this topic if we don't want to, but I feel like I have to ask. There was a little bit of backlash on the internet following that show. Riley's parents seemed to be a little bit upset that there was no notice given, I guess. And then as it sort of played out over the days, I think Riley's dad sort of walked it back a little bit. It sounded like it might have just been a big misunderstanding. But can you talk about, sort of the aftermath of that show? And then the internet was kind of going back and forth. People were taking sides. Either you were in Fugitive's corner and you thought it was great, or you were in the family of Riley's corner and thought that it shouldn't have been done. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think the internet and the general public kind of, made that kind of put that whole thing to bed. I mean, first of all, it was our show, and we wanted to we had a Fugitive show. It wasn't a power trip show, and if I want to invite my buddies up there and play songs that we wrote, for the fans, we didn't go up there, we didn't sell power, we didn't do it to make money. Not to say that I don't think it's wrong for us to be able to do that ever, because we put a lot of work into that band, and I think all those guys deserve that just as much as anybody. But we did it because it made us happy and it made the fans happy, and that's why we did it. And I think we did a good job with it. And from what I could tell, it seemed like 98% of people were able to pick up on that and understood what was going on. And as for, the other side of it, I think they showed who they are, and I think they were dealt with by the fans that know us and know what we stood for and know what Riley stood for. And for people to go out there, who I won't name, and pretend like they know how Riley would feel about us playing songs that haven't been played in years, and honoring him at a show, to make it seem like he was the type of guy that wouldn't want that for everybody. I think it's sad, but I don't really.
You guys were making people happy.
Yeah, we're not allowed to go make people happy apparently.
Right,
So and I think, like I said, what was said on that side was pretty telling and pretty revealing about how how they may or may not see things. So they're allowed to have their own view of the situation, and that's fine. I'm not going to tell anybody what to think. And I understand it's there are angles of the whole situation that aren't easy for certain people, especially if you're close to someone. So we just want to make people happy and do something that we all enjoy. So people are entitled to their own opinion, but I think all I would really say is I don't think we really had to say much. I think the internet and the general public and the fans really enjoyed it and were able to see what our intentions were. So
the love for Riley is strong, but you wrote the songs with him, so you have every right.
Yeah, I mean, we all did.
Yeah,
band.
That's right.
Pretty much, everybody was in the band from day one, except for our drummer Chris, who joined a couple of years after. But I mean, we wrote the records together. I mean, all the guys in the band have played, hundreds, thousands of shows, and gave up their life to do the band and sacrifice so much. And they also had to endure the fallout of everything that happened the last few years and rebuild their lives accordingly. So, I don't feel bad about any of it. The fact that we just wanted to go up there and play songs. I mean, I think I don't see how anybody could have an issue with that. And as for alerting anybody to what was going on, I mean, that would kind of defeat the purpose of the surprise show, I think. And I think there's probably certain things and certain reasons why you can't make certain things known to certain people. Maybe there's issues with communication based on certain situations that are outside of that. So there's a lot of reasons for things, but again, I think most people understood, there's nothing nefarious going on. We just wanted to play the songs. We wanted to make people happy and have a good time. So I think most people don't have an issue with that. If they do, then sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate you answering that. Because I know you kind of have to tread lightly and be sensitive, and I respect all that. Now, for the people that weren't in Austin and didn't get a chance to see that, is there any hope they might see it, without committing to anything? Is there any chance they might get a chance to see that at somewhere down the road, possibly?
There's probably a chance. What do you think, Seth? Maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be, anything's possible. There may be a chance, maybe, yeah, I'd say strong to quite strong, maybe.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Seth, we've had Blake on the show before, and something we ask people when we have him on the show is, what got you hooked on rock and roll? I want to hear how little Seth got bit by the rock and roll bug. What was it? An album, a concert, a TV appearance?
Honestly, the big thing for me was probably just riding in the truck with my dad, listening to rock music. Just that was a big thing. He was a traveling salesman, so when I was a kid, we would just drive over Texas, just listening to, the Beatles and Herman's Hermits, like real old shit. And that's probably what initially got me hooked. And then growing into my preteens and stuff, I was just constantly having my headphones on, listening to whatever I could, get my hands on.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just been kind of like a natural progression of just finding whatever I can and diving into it, and I haven't stopped, I guess.
Did you ever pick up a guitar or any kind of instrument, or were you just kind of singing along?
I dabble and I play piano. I play a little bit of drums. I try to play guitar. I try. It's not, I don't know. It's not.
I've seen him play piano. He's a little pianist.
I can play a little piano, but yeah, I just love music. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And
what record did you first buy? What was your first
the first record I ever got was for Christmas. I think I was 9 or 10, but it was a Hank Williams CD.
Far out.
So yeah, that was my introduction to having a CD, and I played the hell out of that. I still love Hank Williams. Still love country music.
Nice. What
was the band that got you into metal?
Got me into metal? Man, that's a tough one. I really don't know. I'm trying to think.
It's rare that people can't, just go boom. And
there was just so much going on when I was a kid. I was just in and out. I mean, there was stuff that was, like there was As I Lay Dying when I was like 12 years old. I listened to that was one of the first metal records. Yeah, I probably have to say something along those lines.
Yeah.
That was like my first introduction to like screaming, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always like to ask, because me and Jason are old guys, and when we have guys our age on the show, it's always the same thing. Kiss, 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 kiss. And so when we get younger guys, it's always fun for me.
Beatles.
Kiss or the Beatles. Or Beatles. Yeah. But when we have younger guys on the show, it's always cool for us to hear what album, grabbed them as a youngster, because
As I Lay Dying might be a first on the Talk Louder podcast.
Well, I wouldn't say that's what grabbed me, but I would say
I'm not limiting it to that. I just think it's interesting by your age. You just aged yourself. You're 12 when As I Lay Dying.
Yeah.
Well, and he aged us too, because to us that's
big time.
Still new school.
I'm not afraid. Yeah.
Blake, refresh our memory real quick. What was the first album or whatever that got you into music?
Into music is tough. I mean, I'm like Seth. I mean, my dad. I mean, he was showing me. He was always. He was always into music. He's not like a huge music guy, but he likes music. Of course, he's an architect. He's like an artsy guy. So he, of course, loves music, and he'd play me the Beatles and stuff. But I think at some point he realized that I really liked music. But I mean, he was feeding me, the Who, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix. I mean, just like being a kid, and he's showing me the videos of Pete Townsend like knocking the amps over and like breaking the guitars, and Jimi Hendrix, lighting the shit on fire. And I think he could tell, because I was into like skateboarding and stuff, that punk rock was probably going to blow my mind. So he was, he knew about obviously the Ramones and the Clash and all that stuff. And I was into it. I was, he was right. I loved the counterculture aspect of it and just the, loudness and how it was so different than, what was normal, I guess. So yeah, he's about almost 70. So, I mean, that's the stuff he grew up on was, a lot of that 60s music and obviously the Who and the stuff like those were the big ones, I think. But there was like Elvis Costello, there was, Neil Young, all that stuff that I still love to this day. But I'd say the Beatles was the big one because me and him are both really big Beatles fans. And that was always just something we would just constantly listen to. And it was mysterious and weird, I'm the Walrus, Paul's dead, all that stuff. That was like, that was fun and trippy to listen to, get inspired by, but they're still the best band for me. So
yeah.
It's a lot,